with this one right here, you got Willie O, Earna, Detox. You got the Detox coming into you, but we got Earna and the Willie O. You know, the Willie O, but you got the whole thing, you know, especially with his, you know, Detox. He got the Detox coming into it. And, you know, with the main other slider miss, he got the other slider miss coming into it. Especially with this one right here, because, you know, this one right here, I heard a little bit of slaughter missing coming into it. And especially with Earna, because you got his Earna one and everything else. And you know how he comes, like he got it just on another like some sloshatory stuff, like slaughtery and everything else. But you got the whole thing coming into it, especially with his, you know, Detox. So you got just the Detox coming into it, and, you know, mainly everything else coming into that whole, like, Cyramis, you know, with the whole thing. But you got with just the Willie O, Earna, Detox, and everything else, you know, especially with his whole slaughter miss. Like, he got the slaughter miss and everything else, and, you know, especially with this one right here, and this one coming into it, this probably would be another, like, slasterous.
Yo! Look! This is cool. Everyone's outside, man. No one's really banging, though. Who's really banging, fam? Not no threat, fam. Are you really outside? Make sure you're a threat if you're outside, you know. Yo, make sure you're outside. Yo, bruv. Look. You see me, I never stop smoking, but I just went on a detox. Only my bro S will understand this. When I ain't got that side like he does, it's mad. Street ups that slush get juice when they freeze up. Anytime we in the meetings, better run set cause they know what we on. See me, I never stop smoking, but I just went on a detox. Only my bro S will understand this. When I ain't got that. Look. You see me, I never stop smoking, but I just went on a detox. Only my bro S will understand this. When I ain't got that side.
But I just went on a edge. But I just went on a, you know, another passion, another mission. You know, like he said, you know, I ain't never did, you know, did things that they couldn't even expect me doing. Like, you know, when we went on a whole like little mission, you know, with the whole thing. And then he said, you know, with the whole smoking, like, you know, the smoking and stuff and all this other stuff going around, you know, it would never stop choking. Like, just, you know, with the whole thing and the whole just other sentiments, like, you got those main things into it, you know, it's already, and especially with the whole thing coming and the whole thing, you know, coming with another thing, he really got it like stroking and all type of stuff, you know, the way it just, you know, clusimism, like, you know, the way it just starts and the way it's just Frenchy, it has that Frenchy type of, you know, taste to it, the way it's just like clusimus.
And that he does, it's mad. Street ups that slush get juice when they freeze up. Anytime we in the meetings, better run set cause they know what we on. See me, I never stop smoking, but I just went on a detox. Only my bro S will understand this. When I ain't got that side like he does, it's mad. Street ups that slush get juice when they freeze up. Anytime me in the meet, better run set cause they know what we on. Cause you're outside don't mean you're a threat. Just like he's fucking wet. Hate seeing him when I ain't got my smoke. Gotta try and get close but I lose my breath. Street ups that slush get juice when they freeze up. Anytime me and them meet, better run set cause they know what we on. Cause you're outside don't mean you're a threat. Just like he's fucking wet. Hate seeing him.
Just cause you outside don't mean you really outside. Just like Cena, he got wet, he got splittered up. He got like splittered up, you know, but just cause you outside doesn't mean, you know, you really, you know, in another pattern. It's like they say, you know, just cause you one time in the field, it don't mean you always, you know, you really in, you know, in those, you know, those streets, those circles, like you really in those benefits, and you can really benefit off of that. Like, it don't mean that, you know, you can't really benefit off of that. You just a one-timer, like they say it's a one-timer, but he said, you know, one dude got slapped and slaughtered, like, you know, just like Freno got dropped and, you know, slashed and slaughtered, like the whole thing, you know, it's just, that's another Randos.
When I ain't got my smoke, gotta try and get close, but I lose my breath. Stress. All the ops gotta pay like steady in debt to the guy with the sweets. Let me make a request. Need 6 for the 9, but 1 for the test. And we don't believe in numbers unless you're talking pounds and pence. We're a couple man deep in the function, but I bet a couple man's gonna do legs. And I ain't gotta give no instruction. Bros like me who'll crash at them. I put faith in bro. We already done crash at them. COVID-19, everybody must stop. They're looking involved, looking like ops. We ain't taking risks, they're too long and I might untap. I just saw my mates from a distance, but it was dark, they was looking odd. Now my hands on waist and my eyes on them. Oh bro, you was looking like ops. You see me, I ain't even stopped smoking, but I just went on a detox. Only my bro S will understand this. When I ain't got that side like he does, it's mad. Street ops like slush get juice when they freeze up. Anytime we in the meetings, better on set cause they know what we on. See me, I ain't even stopped smoking, but I just went on a detox. Only my bro S will understand this. When I ain't got that side like he does, it's mad. Street ops like slush get juice when they freeze up. Anytime me and them meet, better on set cause they know what we on. Wait, I'ma say it straight, I got names to name, I put names on Blaze, and of course I name my favourite blade. Even though it's got up boys DNA, everybody know.
Ooh, he said he ain't gonna say no names, but you know he's just gonna say that he just gonna say list to list. Like he said, he got stuff on a Rambo. Stuff on Rambo is different. You know, he got different blades for each one of them, like with different names on them. And you coming with that whole thing, like this another one of those, you know, with the thing. But he said, you know, he ain't really gonna take no risk. You know, that's another thing of saying, you know, he ain't really gonna, you know, just collaborate off of, like, he's not gonna speak on those situations, you know, because that's another, you know, that's a misunderstanding. That's another misunderstanding. You got to keep that on that side. Like, you don't really want to put that out there and, you know, Strokes it. So, you know, it's another way of coming of his, you know, his stroke limits, like the whole thing, and how it's just, you know, hey, but you know, it's, hey, those lines is just his history is like the way he just malice missed in it.
Me, I'm rolling bait. Bro with a sheen won't show no face. Girls on me don't know my name and face get done with no delay. Bro don't speak, he won't reply. Give a hoodie and gloves to show you why. I bet you think we out on the lap. You got one chance to roll the dice. Body in a coupe, I'm rolling nice. Good girl but bad, you know the vibes. Or I'm out with the tugs, blowing the back is only rap. You see me, I ain't even stopped smoking, but I just went on a detox. Only my bro S will understand this. When I ain't got that side that he does, it's mad. Street ops like slush get juice when they freeze up. Anytime we in the meet, it's better on set cause they know what we on. See me, I ain't even stopped smoking, but I just went on a detox. Only my bro S will understand this. When I ain't got that side like he does, it's mad. Street ops like slush get juice when they freeze up. Anytime me and them meet, better on set cause they know what we on.
Send me this is
Yo, be a threat.
Yo, hurry up!
Yo. Hey, let's chop this one down.
Whooshy, hey, they had a whooshy, but you know he had the whole broomy thing too. You know he putting his whole thing to it. You know, with the whole thing, like I said, it's right here was a whooshy one, especially with Willow and Earna. Like I said, you know, one of the one of the ones, you know, especially with him coming into it, like he just got his whole thing coming into it, and especially with everything else, you know, coming to it, it makes it more with a status, especially with him, because you know he's one of my favorite too, you know, coming into the whole Strizzy, like especially, you know, when it comes to, you know, his line and his lyrics, you know, he has lyrics after lyrics, and he could keep it like on another freestyle, like he could put a block to it, so you know, it's like he got his whole thing coming into it, especially with this whole thing coming into it with the Detox, the Detox, and then you got everything else. So you know he really had it just on another thing, like he had it like on another thing, like he was putting it on Trosdick and Locks, like he had it just on some Bristist stuff. But most definitely go check this out for you guys self. Go watch it. Like, comment, you know, and what this rat slather is.